Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and today I'm going to teach you 5 mistakes you want to avoid when it comes to investing. And the idea is, guys, the best lessons you're going to learn when it comes to investing are lessons about mistakes from other people. That way, you don't have to, basically break your leg to learn not to do that. But this way, you learn about, this person did this mistake. I'm going to avoid that. That way, it doesn't cost me money. So most of the time, I spend a lot of time reading about people's mistakes to then go ahead and avoid them, and that way I don't have to lose money. So successes are important, but mistakes are also important. That way you don't make them. Now guys, if you guys are new here, I post videos every single day on this channel, so make sure to also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified, and on top of that, also destroy the like button. Now let's get started here with the 5 mistakes you want to avoid at all costs. Number 1, if the stock went this low, there's no way it's going to go lower. Now, I also thought that. When I bought a stock, I'll tell you, GoPro, at around $30 to $30 per share, I didn't think it could actually go lower than 20, but then it went to 15, then it went to $4, then it went to $3, and right now, it's around between $3 to $10, but it never recovered back to what I paid for it. And a great quote is basically, stop selling your winners and keeping your losers. That is a bad idea. It's kind of like having a garden of flowers and weeds, and kind of like basically selling the flowers, cutting the flowers, and then only keeping the weeds to actually grow. When a stock is doing terrible, sometimes the best thing to do is just go ahead and cut your losses, like I should have done when it came to GoPro, when I basically lost around almost 90% of the money I invested in that stock. Now, I wish I knew this, because this way I could have saved all that money and not made that mistake right there. Now, number 2, the stock cannot possibly go much higher than this, so the best idea is probably to go ahead and sell it right now and make my profits. Now, I'll tell you a story about when I bought Walmart at around 70 to maybe 50 bucks a share. I don't remember, but I bought it very low and I sold it as soon as I got a 15% profit. I was like, okay, got my profit, I'm out. Because I knew for a fact, well, Walmart has never passed its price here, so what's the likelihood it's actually going to go up that high? Well, probably very low, but I was actually wrong. If a company is growing, if a company is doing well and expanding, and everything is fundamentally correct, why wouldn't it go beyond its latest highest price, okay? And that basically lost me a ton of money. Although I made 15%, 1.5, I could have made between 200 to 500% if I basically just kept the stock for a lot longer and just held on for the long term, okay? Big mistakes. Stocks can go very high, infinitely, but a stock can only go all the way down to 0, and that's about it. A very good lesson also that I learned from One Up on Wall Street, a book by Peter Lynch. Now, number 3, bottom fishing for stocks. Now, what is it exactly, Tommy? It's the idea that if a stock is going down rapidly, like crazy, you're going to buy it right at the spot where it's going to stop going down, and then you're going to hold on and then sell it when the stock goes back up to its original price. Now, in a perfect world, this works, but some stocks don't ever come back up. So in reality, it's kind of like this company, which I'm going to tell you guys right now. It's called Town Sports, and I actually used to work at Town Sports. And the idea is that at one point, it was selling for $15 per share. And people that bought it, I did not buy. I knew that company sucked. People that bought it said, you know what? This company can't possibly go down below $10. Well, the stock went below $10, then $5, then $3, then $1, and right now it's selling for around 20 cents a share. So the idea that, hey, you're going to time it exactly at the point where it's actually going to stop going down, the answer is you can't time the market. So if you're buying, the answer is buy good companies for a fair price and not terrible companies for a big discount, not knowing if the company is going to go bankrupt. By the way, Town Sports had a massive amount of debt, and also their headquarters was just like, I worked at the headquarters, by the way. It was bad, okay? I'm just gonna say that. It was bad, it was bad, it was bad, and I knew it. Number 4. Well, Tommy, this stock right here is only $3 per share, so how much money could I actually lose? It's not that bad. Well, the truth is that whether the stock is $1 per share or $50 per share, the answer is you can go ahead and lose all of your money if you put it into the wrong companies. It does not matter how much per share is actually selling. In reality, what matters is basically, hey, this stock is going for $10 per share, but how much is it actually worth? If it's $13, then boom, you're getting a bargain. If you're buying it for $10, but in reality, it's only worth $5, well, in reality, you're getting a very, very bad deal no matter how you slice it, okay? So the goal is buy good companies for fair prices and not, again, crappy companies for a very cheap price. And by the way, not every cheap company is crappy, but there are some out there that are crappy, and you can't justify buying it by saying, hey, it's only $3 per share. It doesn't matter. You can go to zero and you can potentially lose all of your money. Now, number 5, eventually, all stocks usually bounce back. The truth is that that is not true, obviously, right? Now, there are 2 types of stocks, right? The stocks that have a company that basically sucks and it goes bankrupt, you go to zero basically, or for example, companies that lose value because something going on in the world, but not because of the company. And then as time goes on, basically the value retains and the market puts it back to its true value. That means the stock is going to go back up. For example, let's say right now, Berkshire Hathaway sells for $200K like it did, for example, back in March of 2020 when the pandemic happened, right? Well, was that because Berkshire Hathaway is a bad holding company or an asset play company, or is it because something's going on in the economy? The answer is the second part, right? The economy, something is wrong, and that's why the stock actually went down. But the company was still solid, and that's why it's bounced back up to over $300,000 per share. I can't believe it, but that company is worth so much money. Shout out to Warren Buffett. That guy is a genius. But on top of that, guys, for example, if I hold on to GoPro, and I did, and I lost around 90% of my money, the answer is, will it bounce back? The answer is no. It won't, because the company basically sucks, and it still kind of sucks, okay? And it's not that it sucks, but there's so much competition out there for camera, and the market is so small, and it needs more innovation. So the idea is that, will it go back up? You know, most likely it won't. So don't say, hey, the company is going to go back up. It always does. The answer is no. It could go potentially to zero, and you can potentially lose all your money. If it's a good company, but something bad happened, and the value is still there, well, that's a different story right there. Now, so far, guys, I gave you 5 mistakes you want to avoid at all costs when it comes to the stock market. Now, here is some extra credits if you actually want more things to actually avoid, but I can't cover them in detail. Obviously, it is going to be too long, but if you do want to see these right here, I'll put them down below in the description, and that way you can get a full story when it comes to all these other mistakes, okay? Another mistake is basically, it's always darkest before the dawn, meaning that, hey, a stock is going down like crazy, but you're sure it's going to go up, and usually that's a buying sign. But in reality, when it comes to the stock market, it's always darkest before pitch black. It's kind of thinking like, hey, you know what? Blockbuster is going to come back. Radio Shack is going to come back. A whole bunch of companies out there are going to come back. The answer is no, they're not. They're not coming back. They're gone, okay? So always study the companies and make sure the fundamentals are there before you go ahead and buy a company thinking that it's going to come back, because it might not come back whatsoever ever again. On top of that, when the company rebounds, I'm going to go ahead and sell. I told myself that so many times with GoPro, and the answer is the company never rebounded back, and I lost, again, 90% of my money. The answer is sometimes you have to cut your losses. As an investor, you're going to buy good companies and also bad companies, and sometimes you're going to have to go ahead and cut your losses. And eventually, the good companies you buy, the 10 baggers, where you actually 10 extra money, the answer is those are going to offset your mistakes also. So sometimes cut your losses, call it a day. Don't wait until you're, for example, 90% down to call it off, okay? Unless the company is still good and fundamentally is going to do great. Now, on top of that, conservative stocks never fluctuate. Everything is going to be fine. I don't even have to pay attention. For example, utility companies, for example, everyone says, hey, this company is going to do great forever. Con Ed does not fluctuate that much. But back in 1998 and also, well, 1998 to 1999, well, Con Ed went down by around 50%. The answer is, no matter the company, in whatever industry it's in, you have to stay consistent with it and look at it and look at the financials. You never know what's going to happen with the stocks. So don't just say, hey, it doesn't fluctuate, I'm good to go. The answer is no, it can happen and it probably will happen. So you want to make sure you pay attention to all of your holdings. Number 5, guys, here, and the last one, although I do want to share more mistakes with you guys, but I can't, I'm running out of time here. And it's basically the stock went up or it went down. So that means I'm either right or I'm wrong. The truth is that basically sometimes when you buy a company without any knowledge, and I've done this in the past also, the stock might go up, but you still might have made a mistake. For example, I bought a company and right now I'm up around 48% and I basically misjudged it completely. And right now I'm just basically sitting on a bunch of luck, okay? If you're not analyzing the companies correctly and know everything about the company in reality, that's just luck. And sometimes luck is on your side and sometimes, most of the times, it's basically not on your side. So the idea is that if a stock is up and you don't know anything about it, it does not mean you were right. It means you got lucky. If the stock is down and you don't know anything about it, it does not mean you were wrong. It means you don't know anything about it either. So the answer is know what you're investing into before you go ahead and put your hard-earned money into it. And by the way, guys, down below, I have a few books I want you guys to check out. For example, One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch, also The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, and on top of that, also Common Stocks and also Uncommon Profits. Those 3 books right there are great books. I recommend you guys check them out. Links down below to them. And if you sign up with Audible, you get those 2 free books for free. If you want to, if you cancel, you still keep them. But guys, I hope this video helped. I'm sorry this video is so long, but there's so much information that I wish I had the time to share with you guys. But again, everything in the description down below, so check that out if you want to. I'll see you guys next time. Comment down below and let me know what has been your biggest mistakes when it comes to investing. Comment down below, let me know. And on top of it, if you like this video right here, well, like this video. On top of that, also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I post a new video. On top of that, if you want to text me or talk to me one-on-one, start on Patreon, link down below, or send me a DM on Instagram at TommyBryson. And before I go, if you want to watch a video on my net worth right now and how much I'm actually worth, here's that video right here. So tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.